Hi guys, it is so gorgeous out today, at least where I am. I hope that you're having a fabulous day. So, I was reading over some comments in my video, and the reason I love the comment section is I think it opens up some really valuable conversation among people. And one of the things that I noticed is a lot of people are talking about the minors in the case. I apologize, my rooster is calling for the hens to come and eat. So there's been a lot of talk lately on YouTube about whether or not the minors in this story need to stop being talked about. Okay, so this is kind of a new concern in the case. We're a year in. I'm not sure why it's suddenly a concern because they've been talked about all this time. But maybe people have gotten carried away with it, and some people are really becoming concerned that it's time to back off and stop talking about the children. I agree and I disagree. I think that you have to tread lightly, and I think you have to be very delicate when talking about children who are under legal age. But at the same time, I think that when you're talking about a missing child case, all bets are off. Okay, I think it is basically fair game. And I don't mean that in a rude way. So if you are a private detective, if you are law enforcement, and I'm not just discrediting armchair sleuths because my gosh, YouTube, armchair detectives and Facebook, they have actually, in many cases, done such amazing research that they have found critical information. So I'm not discrediting them at all. I think it's very valuable to have them also looking at a case. It's always fresh eyes and so many different types of people and different personalities with, different strengths when it comes to researching a case. I think it's great. I think it's awesome. But just looking at it from a law enforcement perspective, they never shy away from, interviewing children or looking at what information a child may have in terms of either as a witness or even, hands on. So I get that we need to be careful when, getting on a platform like YouTube and talking about children. But I think that we can't overlook how important the children are in this story. We have Summer, obviously, who's child. We have Hunter, who was one of the last people on earth to see this child. He is one of the last people to be present on the day that she went missing. Are we just going to look the other way because he's a minor? Absolutely not. And then we have the boys that lived in the home. And how vital is it that we know exactly what they know, what they saw, or what they know to be false? So when it comes to Hunter, he's a little bit older than the other boys that were living in the home. Hunter is 15 years old. Is he 16 yet? At 15 at the time of this incident. And we know how important he is. He has done an interview, you know, which I think left more questions than answers. But, he is certainly old enough, I think, to speak for himself. I mean, if I was his mom, um, and his dad, I would certainly want to be present for any kind of interviews. But I mean, this child has a voice, and he certainly, I think, should use it to tell exactly what he knows. So when it comes to Hunter, what do I think? If I stick with my first initial gut feeling, which was an accident on the day they went swimming, then I think Hunter is extraordinarily important because I lean towards either Jakey, either he was off with Candace and they were doing inappropriate things, whether that's drinking or something physical, And disclaimer that, in my opinion, would be 1,000% on her and not him because he's underage. And Summer was left alone and something happened. And maybe Candace panicked. You know, somebody said something really profound to me yesterday. They said, you know, there's different people in this world, different kinds of people. And in a situation like that, if you were doing something that you shouldn't be doing and something horrific happened, in 1 second, you will make a decision. And that decision will have lasting consequences. Most people would have said the hell with me and picked up that phone and called 911, and then they would have just taken the heat for whatever they were doing when they were lacking to supervise the child, if that was the situation. And then there's going to be people who are runners. You know, they freak out and they run away mentally or physically when a situation is very difficult. And in a panic mode, you know, they may be like, oh my God, I can't tell anybody that this happened. Whether anybody would have been husband, law enforcement, you know, whoever she was most afraid of in that moment. And once that decision was made, from a medical standpoint, if that child drowned, she didn't have a whole lot of time before she could have reversed that decision, because it would have been evident, okay, to medical people and possibly law enforcement that the child would have been deceased earlier than the point that she would have come out of her panic and changed her mind and decided to do the right thing. So she didn't have a lot of time to reverse her decision before she may have felt, well, now it's really too late because they're going to know that I didn't call right away. So then there's the snowball effect. You tell the lie, and now you need to tell another lie, and then another. You have to try to stick to the original. You need to add from it. You need to take away from it. You need to try to keep fitting it to, you know, evidence as evidence mounts against you. And I think that is a very real possibility in this situation. Candace had a lot to lose. She still had 3 other children, and she had an open CPS case. Okay. And she had a husband that I think at that point, at least, she relied on a lot, financially, emotionally. You know, she may have been in a situation where she just felt like, I can't open my mouth. I can't say what really happened, because what is going to happen to me then? Okay, where am I going to go? What will I do? Will I be able to keep my children? So one scenario one scenario is that she was off with Hunter doing God only knows what. The other is that, listen, don't attack me for this, okay? I'm just saying, throwing out things. Hunter and Summer were in the water. Summer and Hunter were in the water in that TikTok video. He was splashing her. Candace was asking him not to splash her. She doesn't like it. I have a 15-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. Boys. I also have a 12-year-old. But I can't tell you how many times I have to tell my 15-year-old not to be so rough with the 5-year-old. I'm so sorry if that is like actually annoying the heck out of you. I love my boy Jake and he protects my chickens. Like nothing is getting past Jake, but he's loud. So my 15-year-old is one of the best big brothers anybody could ask for a 5-year-old. But he gets rough, okay? You know, he won't think anything of trying to roughhouse with him the way he would roughhouse with the 12-year-old, you know? Picks him up, throws him over to the other couch. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to miss the couch. He's going to like fall on the floor. He's got whatever. And I have to always say to him, easy with the baby. You know, you can't play that rough with him. He's going to get hurt. Now, Could that have happened? Could Hunter have, he says, Summer was like a sister to me. How many times did he say that? And you can hear that he loved her, okay, in my opinion. I think that he was very honest when he talked about the fact that he considered her family. Was he roughhousing in the water with her? Did she hit her head? It's a possibility. And again, did Candace panic because there would be too many questions? She already had an open CPS case, and now, even though she probably wouldn't have got in no trouble whatsoever, neither would Hunter have. That would have been actually a full on accident. Could she have panicked because in her mind, with an open CPS case, oh my gosh, now this horrible thing has happened. They already think I'm a bad mother. They're going to take all my other kids away. Or Dawn is just going to be so pissed off because, Summer's like the light of his life. It makes me stay awake at night, and it makes me wonder. And I think if that happened, then that's really unfortunate, because that would truly be absolutely just an accident. And yet now you would have Candace completely distraught because she panicked and made some horrific cover-up decisions. And then you'd have a teenager pulled into it who would have to live with this secret. So that would be absolutely horrible. And then there's other holes in this theory, though, because if she was seen on video after the swimming hole, which has never been confirmed, by the way, but it has been stated that she was seen on video. I don't know if it was like Sonic's or the pharmacy or whatever. Okay, but did you see her like bouncing around in the back seat, playing, watching TikTok? Or did you see her sleeping? Like that weird ass video that we all saw. What did you see on the video? Just that her physical little self was there, or you saw her active and awake? Those two very different things, and we don't know. So I don't know. That's my whole thing with Hunter. I think Hunter knows something. Unless he was truly dropped off, and there was an accident that happened after they got home, but I don't know. I think that child was already gone, or very close to being gone, by the time Candace would have got home. And if she got home, it was long enough to try to think of what to do next. That's my opinion. And Candace, if you're watching, I've already reached out to you, okay? You've made, in my opinion, if I'm right, some horrific decisions, but it's not too late. It's not too late. It can still be undone. It can still be undone. If there was an accident. So now we have the boys. Now we heard this whole thing. Okay, the baby's planting flowers. The boys are watching Minecraft. She goes in with the boys. So then I think, well, come on, there's got to be something to that, because Candace wouldn't have been stupid enough to say that, knowing that the boys would just tell the authorities, like, no, that never happened. So if I could be completely wrong about the swimming hole, which did make it home perfectly fine, and something happened at home, if there was an accident, because would you assume that the boys wouldn't say otherwise? I mean, I can't imagine. Maybe my oldest son, but I can't imagine you couldn't get the truth out of my 12-year-old. You know what I mean? Like that, you'd be able to get it out of him. Because she tells this whole thing, oh, Summer went downstairs to play. Now, people are going to come at me for this. But like I said, I feel like every aspect needs to be looked at. Every single aspect. This is no disrespect to these little boys. They have been through hell and back, all right? We can think that Candace and Dawn are complete pieces of shit parents, whatever, but, like, this was still the boys' home. This was their life, and there's no way that they have not been psychologically damaged by being removed from home, okay? So even if they're in a better home now, that still doesn't negate the effects of being removed from their home, each other, because I think two of them are together and one is not, I believe. And then, of course, their baby sister's gone. So, my boys, love them so much. When they are on their games or watching YouTube and like watching other people game, which is really bizarre to me because why wouldn't you just go play the game yourself? But whatever. Every fire alarm in my house could go off. The flames could be burning through the ceiling, through the walls, up to their neck. And they probably wouldn't even leave the house. They would just continue to stare at the TV. That is how shocking it is when they are watching this. Like, they are so oblivious to everything and anything around them. And they are fantastic big brothers. They are better than almost any other big brothers I've ever seen. But when little brother comes in and starts bothering them while they are gaming, they are literally like, move, get out. You know, you're pushing them aside, get out of the way. Is it possible that Summer was being a typical little sister, harassing them, bothering them? She's pumped up. She just got home. She's been in the car. She hasn't seen her brothers all day. She wants to talk to them. They want to be left the hell alone because they're watching their game. They keep saying she went downstairs. Did she go downstairs on her own, though? Like, I want to go downstairs and play, because it's unusual to me. Most little kids that age want to play. They can have a beautiful bedroom, like my little one. He's got everything you could ever want in his bedroom, but he only goes in it long enough to get the toys and come out and plant them in front of me or in his brother's room in front of his brother and play with them in front of you. I find it hard to believe that her brothers were upstairs. She hasn't seen all day. And she goes off downstairs and isolates herself to play. I would think it is more logical to me that she stayed up there and she was bothering the brothers, if she was ever there at all. But if they were watching this Minecraft nonsense on TV, and we know they turn into like weird little cultists when they're watching this, my kids do at least, all of my family's kids do, because we talk about it to each other all the time. It's bizarre. They like staring at the TV. Like I said, they see nothing else other than that screen. Did she go downstairs or did they force her downstairs? Listen, don't come at me, okay? I'm just saying, I wouldn't even blame a child. Again, if an accident's an accident. If one of them pushed her like, oh my God, yes, I'm gonna go downstairs, leave me alone, I'm watching this. Accidents happen. It's the cover-up. It's the cover-up where everything takes a dark turn, okay? If one of my children pushed their little brother, accidentally, of course. I don't mean like they pushed her down the stairs, like, but, you know, pushed her, like, go. Those were some deadly-ass stairs, okay? Those stairs were not fit to be inside a house leading to a bedroom, okay? They look dangerous to me. I don't think it would take much to push somebody or just nudge them, give them a little shove, and they fall down the stairs. Because there was a story at some point, and I don't even remember who told this story. Was it Grandma? That Candace went downstairs and she heard her hysterically screaming. And remember, I questioned that in an earlier video. I say remember like as if you just sit and watch all my videos. I questioned that in an earlier video. Why the hell would she freak out? Even if she went downstairs and the kid was missing, I would just assume that she was somewhere else. Like maybe she went outside. Maybe she's, you know, playing with one of the animals outside, or she's on the swing. Like if I called my son's name a couple times downstairs and he didn't answer, honestly, I'd probably come up the stairs going, oh my God, Jesus Christ. And then off to the next location to look for him. It bothered me when Grandma said she went downstairs, she called her name, she wasn't down there, and I heard her hysterically screaming. Why? Why would Mom be hysterically screaming? You can go back to the video where I talk all about that. It's in the title, so you'll know which one it is. That bothered me. That comment. Did she find something downstairs? Was Summer injured? Maybe the boys didn't even know it. If somebody kind of shoved her, like, please leave us alone, go downstairs. If they were right back engrossed in their game, they may not have even known that the kid was injured down there. And boy, what better reason to cover something up than for your child? Remember that Dawn made that comment about the oldest son, when he said that one of the kids, and I believe it was the oldest son, said, it wasn't my fault. Why would a kid say that? Why would a kid even think to say that? So these are my step-by-step thoughts, okay, as far as the swimming hole, the only scenarios that I can think of there, and the only scenarios that I can think of at home for an accident. Because I don't think that I, in any way, shape, or form, believe that Candace did anything at home to her. I know there was some theories. One, like she chased her into the woods to like hit her because she was mad at her for something. I mean, I guess I did promise to put every and all theories out there. It's okay. I guess that is a small possibility. I don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't think that Summer was running off in the woods away from her mother and then tripped and fell. Something happened because her mother was going to beat her. I don't even picture Candace like running through the house outside and into the woods just to beat her kid. I think Candace is probably like kind of person like a lot of mothers who probably just yells a lot but doesn't do a whole lot else in terms of discipline. And maybe she whacks the kids. I don't know, but probably only if they're like in arm's reach. I don't see her chasing her into the woods, hunting her down to beat her. If you disagree and you think that that is something that needs to be looked at more, please say so. But I feel pretty confident to take that off the table. I do. So that's my thoughts on the minors in the case. I think all those things need to be looked at as possibilities. And really, if they're all things that can be classified as accidents, I don't see why that's anything terrible to even say or to look at. I mean, are we going to not consider those things as possibilities just because a kid could be involved? I mean, we can always say sorry later. You know what I mean? Like, we need to find the baby. We need to find the baby. However that plays out, and we're not going to do that if we start being afraid to, look at possibilities because they might involve people that it's uncomfortable to talk about. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to say with that. So there was some comments in my section about laying off minors. That's kind of how I feel about that. I think we can be delicate about it. I don't think that we need to be terrible and mean, and I don't think that we should be bashing any children, but I think it warrants looking at. Tell me what you think. Okay? I will talk to you soon. Bye.